Good evening, and welcome to this sanctuary where we journey together through calm and gentle wisdom. As the sun retreats and night tenderly settles, allow yourself to be here without expectation or pressure. Zen teachings invite us into a space where simply being, breathing, and listening transform the ordinary into the restorative. If your heart wishes, share with us from which country you listen and what hour the clock marks in your corner of the world. In this gathering, distance dissolves. We are united in breath. Tonight's guidance is not a call to awaken with urgency, nor a challenge to achieve. Rather, you have entered a peaceful stream, one that carries stories, insights, and contemplative wonders for the tired mind and longing spirit. Like gentle rain nourishing the roots beneath Earth's surface, Zen wisdom moves quietly. We won't rush towards solutions or force clarity. Instead, we will find rest in the slow unfolding of ancient tales and in the subtle truths that linger long after the words are spoken. Consider this space a garden within yourself, cultivated quietly through attentive breath, gentle open-heartedness, and the freedom to simply exist as you are. Here, you are invited to lay aside any striving, any requirement to change or improve. You already hold what you need within. Together, we will remember the grace and tranquility that arises when we honor the simplicity of presence. Let these words become soft lanterns, illuminating the way home. If their glow soothes your spirit, know that you are always welcome to return, subscribing to keep this harbor close. Settle in now, feeling your body gently supported, the weight of the day melting away. Allow breath to move smoothly, muscles softening bit by bit, your entire being arriving in a space free from demand. Release tension from your shoulders, open your hands, and let the gentle hush of evening cradle you. There is nothing required, nowhere to be but here. You are safe, you are enough, and simply being present is more than sufficient. The fullness of the empty cup, humility and openness to wonder. Long ago, under a sky softened by morning mist, a scholar named Hoshin traveled across winding mountain trails, seeking answers amid uncertainty. His mind was weighed by lessons, philosophies, and the urgent desire to grasp the secrets of awakening. Each step was driven by expectation, a yearning to fill himself with knowledge, to fortify the heart with certainty, and to find relief from an ever-questioning mind. The journey was arduous, his bag heavy not just with scrolls, but with invisible burdens, pride and fatigue, and the persistent ache for clarity. At last, Hoshin arrived at the tranquil dwelling of Master Nanin, whose reputation for wisdom was matched only by his gentle presence. Nanin welcomed him with open doors and invited him to rest. The garden outside vibrated with quiet life, dragonflies dancing, water flowing across smooth stones, the hush of pine needles moving in the breeze. There, at a low wooden table, Nanin prepared a simple tea ceremony. 2 cups were placed between them, clay unadorned, inviting humility by their very touch. As the morning unfolded, Hoshin's words poured forth, theories debated, texts cited, beliefs stacked carefully like stones. Nanin listened with patient eyes, weaving silence through conversation, gently arranging the teapot and cups. When Hoshin paused, Nanin lifted the pot and began to pour. Steam spiraled upward as fragrant liquid filled Hoshin's cup, and then calmly, Nanin continued pouring. Tea overflowed, spilling across the table and down to the floor. Startled, Hoshin exclaimed, "Master, the cup can hold no more." Nanin looked up and replied softly, "Like this cup, your mind is full of opinions and conclusions. To welcome wisdom, you must first empty it." In that moment, time seemed to pause. The scholar was met not with judgment, but with a gentle invitation to soften, to set aside certainty, and to make space within. There was no reprimand, only the recognition that fullness sometimes means an inability to receive. The breeze carried Nanin's words farther than the scholar could have guessed. The garden became a mirror for his mind. Petals fell to the ground, letting go of old color to make room for new blossoms. Hoshin sat quietly, his thoughts turning from fevered analysis toward the simple sensation of breath. He noticed the cool air, the warmth in his hands, the rhythmic pulse of the present moment. Emptiness was not a void, but the fertile ground from which genuine insight could spring. Nanin served the tea with slow movements, each gesture deliberate, honoring the ritual as much as the relationship. Hoshin tasted the drink, not with hurried judgment, but with open-hearted presence. In the softness of that pause, appreciation arose, not for complexity, but for the clarity that comes when the mind lets go. The scholar felt something inside him loosen, a willingness to not know, to receive the wisdom waiting between words and within silence. As their conversation deepened, Nanin spoke of Zen's beginner's mind, the childlike openness that greets every experience as new, every question as wondrous, every moment as sufficient. When we believe we know, the world narrows, said Nanin. When we meet the moment fresh, possibility multiplies. Hoshin pondered this, feeling how his longing for answers had built walls of tension, blocking ease and gratitude. Throughout the day, Hoshin reflected on the empty cup's teaching. He observed the world as if through new eyes, how sunlight played across stone, how shadows shifted slowly over moss, how breeze moved without effort or resistance. In embracing emptiness, the scholar found a rare peace. His attention settled, and contentment bloomed in the simplicity of observation. Nanin affirmed, quoting Shunryu Suzuki Roshi, "In the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities. In the expert's mind, there are few." The scholar left with this truth tucked inside. Fullness does not come from accumulation, but from openness. Wisdom does not demand certainty, but the brave acceptance of not knowing. Pause and look inward. Notice where your own cup may be too full, beliefs held tightly, plans etched in stone, emotions stored without release. With each breath, imagine pouring out what no longer serves, creating space for gentle insight, wonder, and gratitude. The practice is simple. Set down what you carry and let presence fill you in new ways. The story of Hoshin and Nanin endures because its lesson is ever present. Emptiness is not loneliness or lack. It is the readiness to receive, the humble courage to accept life's gifts as they unfold. The full cup cannot gather rain, but the empty bowl welcomes the sky. Tonight, as you listen and breathe, become the empty cup. Let old worries spill away, making room for rest, for serenity, and for the quiet joy that comes when you surrender to the simplicity and wonder of now. The gift of the farmer's changing days. Trust in life's natural flow. In a remote valley where mountains guard fields like silent sentinels, lived a farmer named Rio. Each dawn, a veil of mist rolled across his crops, and the calls of distant cranes accompanied his first careful steps into the world. Rio's life was shaped by the rhythms of earth, sowing, tending, harvesting, and the quiet humility of one attuned to the ever-changing sky. Every season brought its own lessons, each as unpredictable as the weather. One quiet morning, Rio made his rounds and found his stable doors open, his beloved horse gone without a trace. The village quickly learned of his misfortune. Neighbors gathered with words of sorrow, faces creased by worry, voices colored with concern. The horse was valuable, not just as an animal, but as a companion and helper in work and journey. Such terrible luck, they lamented, their sympathy woven with worry for how Rio would manage. To all, Rio simply replied, "Perhaps." Days slid by, tinged with uncertainty. Then one evening, as the sun poured molten gold over the hills, the missing horse returned. To everyone's astonishment, 2 wild horses followed at its side. Laughter and celebration filled Rio's yard, neighbors exclaiming, "Such good fortune! Now you have 3 horses!" Rio smiled, receiving both their joy and excitement with the same calm simplicity, answering only, "Perhaps." The wind shifted, and with it, the tone of fate. The arrival of the wild horses brought excitement and challenge. One of Rio's sons, eager to tame the new arrivals, mounted the strongest. Wild and untamed, the horse bucked fiercely, tossing the young man hard to the earth. His leg was broken, and the family home filled with the scent of medicine and worry. The village gathered again, sorrowful once more. They shook their heads, saying, "What a tragedy, just after such luck." Yet Rio, tending to his son with tender patience, again said, "Perhaps." Time passed, and the harvest came due. The fields brimmed with golden rice. Crutches rested at the door. Neighbors offered help and kindness, the cycles of giving and receiving blending into daily life. News spread of trouble in the capital. Soldiers were conscripting all able young men for a distant war. On the day recruiters arrived in the valley, they saw Rio's son, lame from injury, and passed him by. The village then buzzed with relief, voices rising in awe. How fortunate, a blessing hidden even in pain. But true to his nature, Rio answered quietly, "Perhaps." With every change, loss, gain, celebration or heartache, Rio remained rooted like a willow by the stream, firm yet flexible in the face of what each day brought. He taught by example that life is a never-ending flow, impossible to predict or fully understand. What seems a curse may become a gift, and what brings joy may follow a shadow. The mind's wish to fix, label, and judge only magnifies restlessness. True peace is the willingness to let go. The villagers began to observe Rio with new eyes. Some marveled at his steadiness. Others wondered at his refusal to claim certainty. In conversations over shared bowls of rice, friends debated what it meant to trust the unfolding of events, to respond with gentle acceptance rather than quick conclusions. As the moon waxed and waned, it became clear. Rio's even heart was not apathy, but the result of deep attention and gratitude for what is, each moment fresh. Rio's story became a teaching throughout the countryside. Children learned it by heart. Parents retold it to comfort themselves when hardship or blessing appeared without warning. Over the years, Rio watched his son heal, saw harvests come and go, animals live and die, and neighbors age in cycles as natural as the seasons. Through it all, he kept his practice, letting experiences rise, meeting each with curiosity, neither chasing nor resisting. Under starlit skies, Rio often sat in quiet reflection near the stream. He noted the way water carried leaves, stones, and twigs, never knowing where each might rest, but flowing onward with trust that all was as it should be. He realized that contentment was not tied to what happened, but to the spirit in which he received it. The cycles of fortune and misfortune blended into a deeper current. Gratitude for the sheer vibrancy of being present in life's continuous movement. Zen sages distilled this into a single phrase: let go of certainty and peace will flow like water. In his actions and presence, Rio exemplified equanimity. Each morning, he gave thanks, not for what was lost or gained, but for the opportunity to greet whatever came next, confident that each development, pleasant or painful, was only one breath in the long song of existence. If you wish, consider how Rio's approach might invite ease into your own life. Where do you habitually judge experience as good or bad, right or wrong? Imagine what would shift if you answered with, perhaps, if you loosened your grip, released the need for resolution, and allowed yourself to trust life's flow. In every ending is a new beginning. In each disappointment lies hidden wisdom. Tonight, as you prepare to rest, may the story of Rio begin to ripple through your thoughts, softening the boundaries of certainty and welcoming the serenity found in trust. Notice how your breath moves, tides rising and falling, always sufficient. Rest in the wisdom of perhaps, and let the unfolding of each moment carry you gently toward peace. The weight of a single stone, liberation through letting go. The morning began with pale streams of sunlight filtering through the dense pine trees, bathing the monastery's weathered stones in a soft golden glow. Birds called gently from the branches as young monk Taro stepped into the crisp air, preparing himself for a day of learning and quiet work. His mind, however, was clouded with restless thoughts, questions without answers, lingering regrets, and a subtle tension that wrapped itself around his chest. Observing him with patient compassion, Taro's master stood by the entrance, hands folded quietly, eyes reflecting a deep understanding born from years of inner practice. He knelt and picked up a smooth river stone, its surface cool and worn by time, and placed it in Taro's palm. "Carry this with you throughout your day," he said, voice gentle and unwavering. At first, Taro tucked the stone into the folds of his robe and set off through the monastery's winding paths. He swept fallen leaves from the walkway, feeling the long handle of the broom guide him into rhythm with the morning breeze. The stone, nestled against his side, seemed weightless, barely present. There were fish to feed in the pond, water to draw from the well, and sacred bowls to prepare in the kitchen. Yet as the hours drifted along, each routine act became slightly tinged with awareness, the subtle presence of the stone pressing against him, reminding him of its silent witness. As midday arrived, sunlight shifted and grew stronger, deepening the shadows and lifting the scent of jasmine from the temple gardens. With every task, carrying buckets of water, folding ceremonial robes, lighting incense, the stone grew heavier, not in its actual weight, but in Taro's perception. Steps slowed, muscles tightened, and the steady comfort of routine began to unravel. Tasks once effortless gained friction. The bowls seemed harder to lift, the straw mat more challenging to roll, and the distance across the courtyard felt longer, as if the stone tethered him to each moment of effort. By mid-afternoon, the gentle discomfort had become a burden, coloring his entire experience. He tried shifting the stone from pocket to sleeve, hoping to ease the sensation, but its presence lingered whatever he did. Sweat formed along his neck as he knelt to tend the herb garden, his hands trembling as he uprooted weeds and pressed the earth back into place. Each time he bent, the stone pressed even closer, calling his attention again and again. He realized the endless spiral, how small burdens, when carried without pause, deepen into exhaustion and then suffering. How the mind, too, clings to worries, doubts, or pain, growing heavier the longer they are held. Later, in the quiet of the meditation hall, Taro joined the others for the afternoon sitting. The stone was still with him, and as silence descended, each breath tugged at his awareness, asking him to notice, "What am I carrying that I need not hold?" The ache grew more insistent in his body, a chorus of muscles and bones longing for relief. Eyes closed, he felt the coolness of the stone in his palm and imagined setting it gently on the floor. Inwardly, he experimented with release. letting go not only of the physical object, but also of the stories, fears, and anxieties that had gathered in his mind through the day. At dusk, golden light melted into the valley, and Taro found his master seated beneath the old willow tree. He moved slowly, body weary, and knelt to place the stone at his teacher's feet. As his hand uncurled, a wave of lightness rose within him, as if air filled spaces that had been squeezed tight all day. The master watched with a smile of knowing, offering a simple truth. Much of what we carry, Taro, begins so lightly that we do not notice it. Yet if we hold on too long, these small burdens become stones weighing down our hearts and spirits. Release brings freedom, nothing more is required. This lesson echoes across the heart of Zen. We all gather burdens, grief, regret, worry, anger, in ways unnoticed, believing they are necessary or fearing what may come if we surrender them. Quiet suffering grows from the habit of carrying, while healing grows from the willingness to let go. Suffering is not a punishment, but a companion that reminds us to lay down what is no longer needed, to return to a natural state of ease. The process is gentle, sometimes slow, built on compassion for ourselves and trust in the wisdom of release. Consider your own habits. Perhaps you too have collected stones, judgments about your worth, memories that replay in your mind, or responsibilities you feel unable to set aside. With mindfulness, you can gently identify these weights, noticing their shape, their origins, and their effect on your spirit. The invitation is simple. Breathe, soften, and uncling for even one moment. When you release, you reclaim space for rest, for quiet joy, for a new way of being. Thich Nhat Hanh reminds us, letting go gives us freedom, and freedom is the only condition for happiness. Happiness does not demand effort, achievement, or fixing everything that troubles you. It asks softly for gentle surrender and trust, a faith that life will hold you as you loosen the grip on burdens both seen and unseen. Ask yourself now, is there a small tension in your chest or shoulders, an old stone you have forgotten? Imagine what might change if you lay it down, feeling the delicate grace of relief. Notice how the body responds, with ease, with calm, with a sense of returning home to sufficiency and enoughness. As you transition to the next part of your journey, may the wisdom of Taro and his master live in your breath. Let every step remind you that freedom is always near, awaiting your courage to release. Peace grows not from holding on, but from letting go, even if only for a single inhalation. Carry nothing with you that dims your heart's brightness. You are enough, whole and light, just as you are. We continue together, lighter than before, knowing that as we learn the art of letting go, we make space for a deeper, more restful awareness. One stone at a time, the weaver's single thread. Sacredness in ordinary presence. In the gentle haze of dawn, a quiet village unfolded its day with sounds of wooden sandals and softly spoken greetings. At its heart lived Aiko, a master weaver known not for her wealth or rank, but for the breathtaking tapestries she spun from threads as humble as wild flax. Her workshop, filled with sunlight and the subtle scent of cotton and dye, echoed the pulse of the seasons, warm in summer, crisp in winter, always alive with movement and possibility. Aiko's fingers, nimble yet careful, caressed each strand before committing it to the loom, honoring the subtle touch and memory of the earth from which it came. Young Ray, her apprentice, often watched in awe and anxious curiosity. The loom seemed impossibly large, its complexity overwhelming. Frustration would sometimes knot itself in Ray's chest, making breath shallow and shoulders tense. How does one create something so grand, beginning with a task so small? Ray asked one morning as the beams of sunlight danced on spools of color nearby. Instead of answering directly, Aiko invited Ray to sit quietly together in the workshop, listening for the music that arises from patient attention. The faint click of wood, the gentle tension in every drawn thread, the rustle of fabric building layer by layer. All this became a chorus, inviting presence rather than distraction. As hours unfolded, Ray's mind grew steady. Aiko spoke softly, reminding her that every tapestry was born not from ambition or haste, but from the fullness of moment-to-moment awareness. Each thread holds the entire world within it, said Aiko, her words slow and true. Notice the texture, the color, the way each strand responds to touch and breath. Beauty lives not at the end of the making, but in the patience given to each stitch, each pause, each act of care. Ray's agitation softened amid the rhythm of weaving. Every action became a meditation, winding the bobbin, passing the shuttle, pressing the pedal, or simply watching the pattern emerge. The ordinary became miraculous, filled with gratitude for the simplicity of being truly present. In attending to one thread fully, the tapestry of life revealed itself in silent wholeness. Zen Buddhism values this mindful relationship with the everyday. Dogen Zenji taught that enlightenment, the deep awakening of presence, meets us most profoundly, not in spiritual heights, but in the gentle repetition of daily acts. Sweeping floors, preparing tea, walking a garden path, each is a ceremony, each an expression of gratitude for what is fleeting and simple. Within the walls of Aiko's workshop, time slowed, and the worries that once filled Ray's mind floated away like dust in a sunbeam. The loom became both instrument and teacher, steadfast in its grounding, sure in its purpose, yet always receptive to the unique touch and energy brought by the hands weaving its tapestry. The tapestry itself was never the true goal. Rather, it was the transformation within the one who weaves, the cultivation of patience, grace, and deep appreciation. If you pause now, you can sense the places in your own day where attention drifts, where tasks seem small or unworthy of care. Invite your breath to anchor you in this moment, feeling the surfaces you touch, hearing the layers of sound around you, seeing the colors subtle and bold. Let gratitude arise for the simple miracle of being here, able to experience the fullness of even the smallest actions. Imagine your life as a tapestry, woven not through grand gestures, but through the sacredness of everyday choices. Every step, every glance, every act of kindness forms a thread. Presence transforms complexity into harmony, and gratitude infuses even the plainest cloth with meaning. In this way, contentment is found not by waiting for extraordinary events, but by resting deeply in each ordinary moment. As Aiko and Ray's story unfolds, let its lesson settle in your own heart. Allow your body to soften, your mind to widen, and your spirit to reverberate with gentle appreciation. One thread is enough, one breath is sufficient. Wholeness and peace are not withheld. They live in each act noticed and honored with care. Traveling onward, may you carry the mindful spirit of the weaver, discovering the sacred even as you walk through the simplest of days. The river that never stops, acceptance and flow without resistance. The sound of moving water filled the air as monk Sora awoke, footsteps muffled by moss and stone along the monastery's edge. His heart, shaped by longing to understand and master life's countless changes, felt a tension familiar and deep, caught between hopes for certainty and the reality of endless unfolding. Sora's teacher saw this inner struggle, and with a soft smile, invited him to walk to the wide, shimmering river that cut through the valley. its current endless, surfaces ever-changing. Together, they sat on a thick stone shaded by bamboo, silent but alert to the world's rhythm, the hum of insects above, the shifting scent of rain on distant mountains, the sun reflecting peaks of silver from the dancing water below. The master invited Sora to stop the river just for a moment. Determined, Sora placed his hands into the flow, pressing against the cold rush of water with all his effort. He gathered stones and sticks, erecting barriers, only to watch them swept away by currents undisturbed, constantly renewing their movement. The master said little, letting time move, and Sora's struggle unfold without interruption. Sora felt frustration bloom with each failed attempt. His arms grew tired, his resolve uncertain. Every gesture to control or block the river ended not with triumph, but with gentle surrender, as water returned to its flow again and again. Slowly, breath by breath, Sora's body softened, and his resistance began to dissolve, leaving behind a quiet fatigue and a growing awareness of the river's natural wisdom. "Notice the way the water meets each stone," the teacher finally whispered, his voice like wind through the leaves. "It never argues, it never fights. Water moves, adjusting to obstacles not by force, but by rounding, yielding, welcoming every change." In this softness is true strength, a power that endures because it is willing to bend. Sora listened, sensing the truth in his teacher's words, feeling the tension he had carried slowly unspool from his shoulders, from his jaw, from deep places within his heart. Acceptance, Sora learned, is not a passive resignation. It is the wise engagement of life's movements, an embrace of things as they are, without grasping or resisting. The river carries memories from mountain to sea, all changes held in the dance of currents and eddies, all life welcomed and released in rhythm with each season. Our suffering, the teacher explained, grows from the wish to control what cannot be held, from the friction of fighting natural change. When we rest in trust, moving with life instead of against it, peace returns quietly and then blooms. Lao Tzu's ancient wisdom echoes here. Nothing in the world is as soft and yielding as water, yet nothing can surpass it for dissolving the hard and inflexible. In moving like water, in meeting challenges with patience and flexibility, our inner strength grows. We do not need to overpower the world. Our greatest power is in merging, in adapting, in becoming part of the flow. Pause and look at your own life. Are there places where you push, resist, or wish things were different? Can you invite each breath to soften, to yield, to trust the current carrying you? Notice the gentle movements in your body, rivers of sensation, streams of thought, all able to be honored without clinging. Acceptance opens the door to contentment, gratitude, and a sense of completion in things as they are. By letting go of force and choosing effortlessness, you welcome life's fullness, riding the waves instead of battling the tide. As Sora's story settles in your heart, allow it to shape your night's rest and tomorrow's awakening. Your life, too, is a river, sometimes gentle, sometimes powerful, always ready to carry you if you let go of resistance and move with its natural wisdom. Let us continue on, guided by the softness of water, remembering always, peace arrives not from conquering, but from flowing gently, day after day. The most precious treasure, compassion and equanimity as true wealth. Soft lantern light flickered along the silent corridor of a Zen temple, where Master Shichiri was known for his deep wisdom and gentle demeanor. Night draped the city in stillness, distant bells echoing over rooftops as people retreated to their wooden homes after long hours of work. The The master sat meditating in the quiet sanctuary when, unexpectedly, a thief crept inside, hunger and desperation clear in his tired face and trembling hands. Instead of alarm, Shichiri opened his eyes calmly, greeting the intruder with the same tranquility offered to an old friend or passing breeze. The thief, startled but determined, demanded money and valuables. Shichiri responded not with anger or fear, but with a voice soft and unwavering. "Take what you need, but please do not disturb the others." Hands shaking, the thief gathered coins from the offering bowl, glancing anxiously at the master, who remained unmoved. Before leaving, Shichiri spoke once more. "You have received what you desired. Could you say thank you before you go?" The thief, caught off guard by this strange kindness, bowed his head, murmured a word of gratitude, and slipped away into the night. Days passed, and the thief, apprehended by authorities, feared harsh punishment. When called upon, Shichiri responded, "He did not steal. I gave him what he needed." The city buzzed with surprise at the master's compassion, his refusal to judge or condemn. For Shichiri, the world's most valuable treasure was not gold or silver, but the peace and equanimity that arise from meeting every circumstance with an open, gentle heart. This story echoes the deep river of Zen teaching, a message that true wealth lives not in possessions, but in how we relate to others, especially in moments of challenge or distress. Compassion arises when we let go of attachment, respond rather than react, and regard all beings as worthy of kindness. In this way, equanimity becomes the refuge, the unshakable center that neither praise nor blame, loss nor gain can disturb. To be truly rich is to hold an unbreakable sense of peace within. When you find compassion for those who wrong you or ask something undeserved, you're practicing a generosity more profound than any material gift. This capacity to respond softly, with an open mind and gentle words, transforms not only the other, but yourself. Shichiri's treasure was his own undisturbed spirit. Zen wisdom teaches, the mind itself is the source of all experiences. Our reactions shape our world far more than external events. When you meet each person, each challenge, from a place of spacious awareness and kindness, you discover a treasure that cannot be stolen or depleted. In this way, suffering softens and joy arises as a natural, effortless companion. Pause for a moment and reflect. How do you respond when life brings you unexpected visitors, whether people, emotions, or difficulties? Can you cultivate the presence that welcomes each moment as it comes, offering a silent thank you to every experience? Compassion is not only for others, but for yourself. Kindness in your language, in your thoughts, in the boundaries you hold gently but firmly. Citations from Zen tradition remind us, peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. Even amidst uncertainty or injustice, you can rest into your breath and return to the steady ground of compassion. Every act of equanimity becomes its own sanctuary, a safe harbor in the shifting tides of circumstance. As our journey continues, let the story of Master Shichiri remind you that your most precious treasure is always with you, alive in your heart, shining in your gentle response to life's changing faces. The taste of a strawberry, radical presence and gratitude in every moment. At the edge of a wild, windswept mountain, where the scent of pine mingled with the crisp air and the rocks cradled old secrets, a traveler named Jin discovered himself caught between peril and wonder. Jin's journey had been arduous, winding through mazes of stone and valleys blanketed in mist. That afternoon, the sky glowed pale orange where the sun dipped behind distant peaks, but Jin's focus narrowed as thundering footsteps rumbled close behind. Tigers, fierce and hungry, stalked him with unwavering intent, eyes gleaming in the shadows beneath tangled roots. Driven by urgency, Jin fled, breath ragged as he searched for escape along the cliff's edge. He grasped at the wild vines trailing down the face, hands scratched and aching as he descended toward uncertain ground. Below, on the rocks, more tigers waited with silent anticipation, jaws parted, muscles coiled. Above and below, danger pressed from all sides, leaving Jin suspended between earth and sky, his body trembling with adrenaline and fatigue. The whole world narrowed to this one precarious moment. The sounds of wind and distant waterfalls lost to the rhythm of his pounding heart. As fear threatened to flood his senses and thoughts raced, Jin glimpsed in the crumbling earth a single strawberry, small, red, and perfectly ripe, its skin gleaming with sunlight. For an instant, the weight of peril diminished. The berry's presence was so startling, so vivid, that it seemed to pause time itself, inviting Jin's attention away from threat and uncertainty towards something gentle and alive. Jin reached with cautious fingers, feeling the cool soil and roughness of stone beneath the delicate fruit. He plucked the strawberry, pressed it to his lips, and tasted its sweetness. Juice burst onto his tongue, floral and bright, filling his mouth with the pure sensation of life's simplicity. For that moment, all terror faded, the roar of tigers vanished, the ache in his muscles settled, and he existed only in the richness of the present, body and mind united in gratitude for one bite of perfect fruit. This ancient parable lives at the heart of Zen wisdom, reminding us that gratitude and presence are not reserved for times of safety and certainty. Instead, they unfold most powerfully in the very midst of change and challenge. Jin's pause, his choice to notice and savor beauty even when danger circled, models the path of radical acceptance, a wisdom that arises not apart from suffering, but within it, transforming adversity into an opportunity for awakening. The mind, shaped by habit and fear, pushes to escape threat and control outcomes. Yet Zen teachings invite us to stay, to breathe, and to open to the fullness of what is before us. Even the most ordinary sweetness can become a portal to peace when we surrender urgency and meet the present as it is. The taste of the strawberry is an act of gentle faith, a trust that whatever circumstances may surround us, wholeness can be found in the smallest lived sensations. As you reflect on Jin's story, consider your own moments of uncertainty. Perhaps you have felt surrounded by troubles, anxieties prowling outside the window, pressures mounting with each step. The teaching is simple and profound. In even the hardest of times, there is always at least one small sweetness available, if you are willing to pause, notice, and receive it. It may be the soft sound of your breath, the warmth of light touching your skin, the kindness in your own thoughts, the taste of water after thirst. Each act of presence becomes an antidote to fear, a gentle harvest of gratitude rising from ordinary ground. Zen masters have long reminded seekers, when eating, eat, when breathing, breathe. Nothing extra is required, only awareness, only sincerity. This way of being is not mere escape, but a direct encounter with life in all its colors and textures, the willingness to cherish the moment without reservation or withholding. Contentment grows not by changing circumstances, but by resting deeply in the miraculous now. You can practice this wisdom whenever you choose. Name the tigers in your own life, worries about the future, pains of the past, challenges not yet resolved. Breathe into the space where they circle and look for a single, humble sweetness in reach. What is here now, to be noticed and cherished? Touch that reality, taste its flavor, and let gratitude arise, not as a demand, but as a natural blossoming. The old Zen saying affirms, "This very place is the lotus land. This very body is the Buddha." Your own existence is complete and worthy, regardless of challenge or uncertainty. The key is willingness, to pause, to open, to appreciate the smallest gifts with a whole heart. In doing so, you honor both the difficulty and goodness that shape your days. As Jin's tale settles into your evening, breathe deeply and let the lesson linger within you. Every night, every dawn, you are invited to receive whatever sweetness arises, unrestricted by fear, undiminished by circumstance. Gratitude transforms even peril into blessing. Presence dissolves every barrier between you and peace. As you drift into rest, let gratitude for your own strawberries fill you. Radical presence, contentment, and quiet joy are always near, waiting to be tasted, celebrated, and shared. One breath, one bite, one gentle moment at a time. The teacup already broken. Non-attachment and the wisdom of impermanence. In the sanctuary of a peaceful monastery, morning mist settled over ancient stones, lending the gardens an ethereal glow. Venerable monk Ajahn Keen moved quietly along winding paths, hands folded within his robe, embracing the hush of early hours. Among his few beloved possessions was a delicate teacup, simple, ceramic, glazed with shades of deep blue. Each morning, he filled the cup with hot water, watching as steam curled in gentle spirals, feeling gratitude for the comfort and ritual that accompanied the opening moments of his day. One afternoon, a young novice approached, admiring the teacup's beauty and voicing concern that such a precious object could easily be chipped, broken, or lost. Ajahn Keen smiled softly and replied, "I contemplate this cup as if it is already broken." He caressed the rim with patient fingertips, explaining that every form, cup, flower, even body, exists within the rhythms of change. To cherish the present is to release the habit of clinging, to love without fear, and to accept loss as another shape of completion. Life in the monastery was woven of quiet gestures and small acts. The teacup's presence became a lesson in awareness, to wash it with care after use, set it gently on the bamboo shelf, and notice the way sunlight played across its surface. Kien invited his fellow monks to join him in this practice, honoring the fragility of all things, living in gratitude for gifts as they are, and surrendering attachment to how they might remain. Through the seasons, the practice deepened. Monks found comfort not in certainty, but in the freedom of loving things as ephemeral, precious only in the moment they are given. One evening, as Keen poured tea for his companions, a gust of wind knocked the cup from the table. It shattered into several pieces, the sound echoing through the hall. Silence followed, not of shock, but of gentle acceptance. Keen knelt, gathering the fragments with slow, deliberate hands. "The cup was always broken," he said. "The joy was in loving it wholly while it lived. There was no sadness or regret, only gratitude for every morning the cup had served, for every lesson it had offered on the nature of impermanence." In Zen and Buddhist thought, this act of contemplating impermanence, anicca, in all things, trains the heart toward freedom. Suffering arises not because forms change, but because the mind clings to continuity, wishes things could last, and fears what will happen when they do not. The teacup's lesson is both simple and profound. Happiness is born when we do not bind ourselves to what must inevitably pass. To hold with open hands, to see beauty as temporary and worth celebrating, to participate in the dance of arising and dissolving with equanimity. This is liberation. Ajahn Chah, the revered forest master, often taught, "You see this cup? I love it. When I drink from it, It holds my tea beautifully. One day, it may fall from the table and break, and I will say, "Ah, of course." When you understand the nature of things, your heart rests easy and contentment fills you. These words echo the ancient wisdom carried through generations. To value what you have without grasping, to fully experience each encounter and let go when it ends, is to dwell in sufficiency, completion, and peace. Consider your own life. What do you cling to? Objects, relationships, projects, dreams that you wish could stay as they are forever? What fears or griefs arise when change threatens what you love? By gently contemplating the impermanence of all you cherish, you grant yourself permission to breathe into gratitude, experience joy without anxiety, and adapt softly when loss comes. Tender attention and gentle care transform ordinary things into sacred opportunities for presence. Notice the sensations in your body as you reflect. Is there tension in your hands or chest, a subtle holding or guarding against change? With your next slow, deep breath, imagine setting all fears aside, accepting that everything is complete as it is, already whole, even as it transforms. Each moment asks for your awareness, your gratitude, your willingness to let go. You can begin this practice with small acts. Savor your coffee, cherish a sunset, appreciate the laughter of a friend. Remember that each is fleeting, and love them all the more for it. Impermanence does not diminish life's beauty. It heightens, softens, and renders every experience precious and new. As the monks placed new cups on the table the next morning, light filtered through the kitchen window, illuminating their faces with warmth and acceptance. The cycle continued, cups and stories rising and falling, each one an offering to the quiet joy that lives beyond attachment. As you settle into your evening or morning, carry the lesson of the broken teacup within. Invite non-attachment to guide your choices. Accept the fragile, passing nature of all things as a gift, and celebrate what you hold, knowing gently that letting go is another form of love. The sound of one hand. Intuition and direct experience beyond thought. The sound of one hand. Intuition and direct experience beyond thought. The early temple mornings were wrapped in mist so thick that even the old pines seemed to vanish in a world of white silence. Within this gentle obscurity, the faint crackle of incense drifted up from stone altars, mixing with the subdued melody of bamboo chimes. The temple's walls held echoes of countless teachings, yet for one young seeker named Michi, wisdom felt always just out of reach, a shape glimpsed but never quite grasped. Michi, curious and sincere, was known for his determined study and fast mind, constantly striving to understand the deeper truths of Zen. Scriptures and commentaries filled his bedside, his notepads crowded with questions and answers. Still, there lingered inside him a growing restlessness, a sense that more knowing led only to more searching, never to true fulfillment. Early one chilly dawn, his teacher, the renowned Master Hakuen, stood beside him and offered a challenge both simple and profound. "Michi, attend. What is the sound of one hand clapping?" The question tumbled like a stone into Michi's thoughts. At first, he answered with logic and demonstration, pressing his palms together, trying to conjure a sound with just fingers and air. But each effort ended in uncertain silence, and Master Hakuen simply shook his head, a faint smile on his lips. Days spun into weeks, and Michi found himself obsessed, the koan circling in his mind as he walked gardens, swept floors, and attended to rituals. His dreams became shadowed by the puzzle, hope and frustration woven together. He asked friends, senior monks, read old treatises, and sat waiting for inspiration that refused to arrive. Exhaustion and doubt slowly replaced excitement. Sometimes, Michi's heart raced in meditation, the question returning with each breath. What is the answer? Why am I stuck? Master Hakuin watched Michi's growing distress with gentle eyes. He did not offer hints, but encouraged Michi to pay close attention to all things, not just to the question itself. Do not fight the silence, he said quietly one dusk as the temple bell tolled across the hills. Let it call you inward, past words and concepts, into direct experience. Michi wandered the temple gardens at midnight, tracing the edges of the koi pond and feeling the chill of water against his hand. He tried listening for sounds outside himself, night birds, rustle of wind, drip of rain, feeling the distinctions between noise and quiet, presence and absence. In one moment of deep stillness, he found his awareness sharpened to the movement of breath, the heartbeat in his chest, the way the moonlight sparkled atop a stone. No answer, only the full sense of being alive and awake. The world felt empty, but not alone, full, but not cluttered. Time moved slowly, and Michi's resistance softened. He accepted that the question might never be solved in the way his intellect desired. Instead, he began to notice subtle shifts, the sensation of cool air between his palms, the warmth from a cup of tea, the simple joy of walking across tatami mats. The answer, he realized, might be less about solving and more about perceiving, an invitation to let go of striving and rest fully in what was immediate and real. One evening, Master Hakuin found Michi gazing into the rippling pond, his thoughts at rest. "What have you discovered?" the master asked softly. Michi replied, "There is no sound in the traditional sense. Yet in the touch of my hand to water, the ripple moves, the air shifts. There is change, and I am present with it. Perhaps the sound is that which arises in the act of attention, not in the act of noise." Hakuin smiled. When the mind stops grasping, answers come in the hush, in the quiet that lives beyond words. This moment marked a turning point. Michi experienced a deep sense of peace, a familiarity with the mystery, without pressure to resolve it. The sound of one hand was a gate to awareness, to the fullness of emptiness, to the possibility that wisdom dwells in the direct encounter with life. Insight appeared not as a conclusion, but as a gentle resting, a willingness to live inside the koan, allowing it to be an alive and nourishing question. Koans in Zen are not riddles with solutions, but doorways to direct experience. They unsettle our reliance on thought and bring us into the paradox of being. No answer is final, yet every moment can be complete. Master Hakuin often said, "A koan is a medicine for the mind's illness." Pribel, to approach them is to invite humility, patience, and the readiness to see anew. Alan Watts would remind seekers, you cannot force awakening. It arrives when the mind stops interfering. In Michi's journey, awakening was not an achievement, but the natural grace of surrender, letting go of striving, allowing intuition and silence to reveal depths unseen. In Zen, this way of knowing is prized above certainty or logic. It is the path of beginner's mind, of softness and wonder. You too may find moments where questions circle and yearn for resolution. The teaching here is one of compassion. Do not hurry, do not fight. Trust the space between thoughts, the pause in your day. Notice your breath, your pulse, the way air moves between your fingers. When you rest in awareness, the world meets you with gentle immediacy and clarity. As Michi's story settles, let yourself honor every unanswered question as a space for growth, every silence as an invitation to deeper presence. Wisdom often comes in the absence of completion, whispering in the pause between the search and the finding. The sound of one hand is alive wherever you welcome it, with openness, with curiosity, with willingness to not know. Let your breath slow, your body soften, and your heart ease into the spaciousness of mystery. As you travel onward, remember that the truest answers are sometimes those felt in the quiet, in the subtle embracing of being, moment after moment after moment. The moon in the puddle, direct experience, letting go of concept, embracing the ordinary. In the quiet valley, night descends with a breath of cool air over hushed groves and winding stone paths. The moon rises, silver and full, bathing the world in gentle glow. At the center of the Zen temple, novice Hannah kneels near a small puddle left by evening rain, the surface glossy as glass. Her mind spins with questions, seeking clarity in the teachings that seem both simple and unfathomable. She has come searching for enlightenment, dreaming of moments that will lift her far beyond ordinary suffering and mundane labor. Yet Hannah's teacher, the seasoned monk Bankei, sits beside her, inviting her not to reach higher, but to look closer. "What do you see in the water?" Bankei's voice is soft, patient, free of expectations. Hannah peers into the shallow pool, noticing first the pebbles and dark earth beneath, then the dazzling reflection overhead, a perfect, miniature moon shining among cramped stones. She wonders aloud if the true moon is held in the puddle, or if it's just an illusion, some trick of the night. Bankei smiles, using no words at first, only watching as Hannah's breath slows and her gaze deepens. He offers, "The teachings are like fingers pointing to the moon. Do not mistake the finger for the moon or the puddle's image for what lives in the sky. Enlightenment is not found in symbols or clever thoughts, but in the fullness of direct experience." Hannah listens, sensing the warm air on her skin, the scent of moist ground, the delicate shimmer of light on water. Something softens inside her, a tension lessening, a willingness to rest in what is real, immediate. The old Zen story continues. Hannah reaches for the reflection, only to disturb the waters, sending ripples across the surface and erasing the moon. She feels a moment of loss, but then sees the moon re-emerging as the puddle calms. Bankei explains, "Truth is not possessed. It cannot be grasped or held. Let the teachings direct your attention, then release them, just as you let go of the ripples and watch the moon return." Hannah realizes that searching, clinging or forcing understanding clouds what could be clear. In her following days, Hannah brings this lesson with her. Whether sweeping steps, preparing tea, or meditating at dawn, she lets concepts slip quietly into the background. When confusion arises, she returns to her body, the touch of air, the taste of tea, the slow rhythm of her pulse. No need for explanation, no hurry to solve the mystery. In resting directly with the moment, the wisdom of Zen opens. Nothing needs to be added, nothing must be removed. Zen tradition teaches, without water, no moon. The wisdom contained here is gentle and patient. What is seen depends on what is present. The moon, ever unchanged in the sky, finds countless forms on the earth. In puddle, in pond, in cup, in eye, the image arises anew, never owned, always flowing. When ego forces meaning, wisdom slips away. When emptiness is embraced, clarity returns. The practice deepens. Hannah begins noticing reflections everywhere. The shimmer of sunlight on polished wood, the face of a friend framed in laughter, the stillness that descends when she allows herself simply to be. She finds ordinary moments suffused with beauty, brief and complete. Whether joyous or painful, every experience is welcomed, neither hoarded nor feared. This is the moon's lesson: to let go of ideas, to allow presence to shape your understanding and to greet whatever arises as if it were both fresh and enough. Bankei, watching Hana's journey, reminds her of the old Zen saying, "Enlightenment is intimacy with all things." Wisdom is found not in escaping the ordinary, but in dissolving the boundary between self and world, allowing each breeze, each sigh, each drop of water to be a teacher and a blessing. The story returns to the puddle. Hana sits once more at nightfall, seeing the moon bright above and shining below. She places her hands on the earth, feeling solidness and support, letting her eyes wander between sky and water, between longing and acceptance. In this simple act, she practices letting go, of grasping, judging, naming, longing. She is both moon and puddle, both seeker and found. The ordinary is revealed as wondrous, and her heart settles quietly into the mystery. You too can practice this gentle art. Next time you find yourself searching for answers or clinging to concepts, pause and attend to direct experience. The light in your room, the sensation of breath, the small reflections dancing in everyday things. Release the urge to possess understanding. Let clarity unfold in its own way, in its own time. The moon rests in every puddle, as truth rests in the ordinary moments of your life. When you let things be as they are, when you trust in the wisdom of letting go, clarity and peace gently shine through the surface of your days. As you move forward, let Hana's story accompany your night. In the reflections that appear and vanish, recall the moon and puddle. Presence, letting go, and the beauty of the ordinary, always new, always complete. Chop wood, carry water. Mindfulness and contentment in daily life. The sun was only a suggestion, a pale light behind the mountain when Shinji, the senior monk, began his day in the monastery. The world was cool and expectant with dew, distant birds calling through the mist. Shinji's robes were simple and faded with time, the fabric holding stories of many winters, many repetitions of ordinary effort. For decades, he had risen before dawn, greeting each morning not with urgency or ambition, but with a gentle sense of purpose. To tend the woodpile, draw fresh water from the spring, and shape the monastery's morning with silent care. The youngest monks watched Shinji's routine with mixed feelings. Some admired his discipline and grace, while others inwardly grew impatient, secretly hungering for deeper Zen teachings and breakthroughs. Moments when enlightenment would surely reveal itself in flashes of insight or dramatic change. The tasks, they believed, were nothing more than chores, necessary but dull, disconnected from the great questions about suffering, awakening, and inner peace. Yet as the days unfurled, Shinji welcomed their company. "Join me," he would say with a soft smile. With a slow, steady stride, he led them down moss-lined paths to the woodpile at the forest's edge, where the air was alive with the scent of pine and earth. He guided them in choosing which logs to split, feeling for density, seeing the subtle lines through the grain, sensing the weight of each piece. "Let your mind live in your hands," he whispered. "Notice everything." The chopping itself became a rhythm, a meditation in movement. With every swing of the axe, one could feel the body's balance, the pulse of muscles, the controlled release of force, and the return of breath after exertion. Sometimes the axe stuck or split the wood unevenly, and Shinji would pause, watch, and allow a gentle correction to emerge, never rushing nor harsh. The logs stacked neatly became more than just fuel. They became a record of mindful attention, of work done with care and presence. The walk to the spring was equally intentional. Shinji invited the monks to listen to the crunch of old leaves beneath their feet, to observe how sunlight shimmered on spiderwebs caught between tree branches. The spring, cold and clear, was a mirror for the morning sky. Each monk filled his bucket, feeling the weight, the cool splash against bare skin, the simple gratitude of water as sustenance and blessing. Shinji bowed his head lightly, offering thanks before beginning the trek back, droplets falling onto the path like crystal beads. At first, the younger monks found their thoughts wandering, wishing for stories, lessons, or greater meaning. But as weeks passed, an unexpected shift occurred inside them. The repetition of movement, the slowing of thought, the anchoring of attention to sensation, and now transformed the burden of routine into the invitation for stillness. They noticed changes in how their bodies felt, less restless, more aware of subtle details, soothed by the patterns of work rather than made bored by them. In shared silence, Shinji would gently share an old teaching. Before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. Sometimes the monks laughed, sometimes they blinked, puzzled. With time they understood. The goal was not to escape the ordinary, but to understand that the ordinary was never dull or separate from awakening. The sacred is not hidden, but present within each simple act. Every practice became a celebration. Monks found small joys, a warm gust of air against cold skin, the satisfying sound of a log splitting clean, the intricacies of water swirling as buckets dipped below the surface. Preparing food, folding bedding, sweeping temple corners, each was done not with hurry, but as an act of devotion. The world slowed. Contentment no longer felt out of reach. It waited patiently, wherever attention was true. Zen teachings repeated themselves in the daily round. The way is perfect like vast space, where nothing is lacking and nothing is in excess. Practicing mindfulness, the monks allowed themselves to rest in sufficiency, in doing only what was required, no more, no less. Judgment softened, gratitude grew, not just for rare moments, but for the depth and fullness found within the ordinary. Shinji led with humility, blessing the water before it was poured, offering quiet acknowledgement to the tools and the earth. Ritual appeared without ceremony, a bowed head, a long breath, a silent wish for wellness shared across every act. Working side by side, the monks became aware of their shared humanity, the simple truth that everyone, no matter rank or experience, was part of this endless circuit of giving and receiving. Descansando à sombra do fim da tarde, os monges lembravam da história de antigos mestres. A iluminação não afasta as tarefas cotidianas, mas transforma o modo como elas são feitas. O extraordinário se revela no ordinário, e o contentamento brota quando se reconhece a maravilha oculta em cada rotina. Pause now and place yourself within this rhythm. Which small tasks fill your own days? Are there moments that seem empty, rushed, or unimportant? Try inviting your attention gently back to sensation, the warmth of water, the living texture of what you touch, the subtle movement in your breath. Savor what is given and allow gratitude to soften any sense of lack. The practice is simple but profound. One log, one bucket, one breath. As seasons turned, the young monks transformed. Effort became ease, and longing receded into satisfaction. The monastery flourished in its peaceful routines, the stillness of spirit mirrored in action. Mindfulness was no longer a technique or goal, but a living presence, a thread weaving through everything. In every repetition, you may discover your own homecoming, a return to balance, completion, and sufficiency. Chop wood, carry water, not as duty, but as the grace of life itself. Rest in this simplicity, and let the fullness of the now be enough. The governor's visit. Non-self and releasing identification with roles. A cascade of sunlight illuminated the busy streets as Governor Masaru approached the Zen temple, his arrival signaled by the clatter of horse hooves and the formal fanfare of attendants shuffling papers and gifts. Masaru was a man of impeccable dress and authority. Years of governance had shaped him into someone who moved with practiced confidence, surrounded by advisors and bodyguards who bowed at every turn. His presence was like a stone thrown into a tranquil pond. Ripples of attention and expectation followed wherever he went. Today, Masaru's intention was both political and personal. He sought the wisdom of Master Dogen, whose teachings had intrigued and unsettled the elite of many provinces. Inside the temple, Master Dogen sat in unadorned silence. His robe was plain, his posture upright yet relaxed, his gaze resting peacefully on the garden where bamboo stalks swayed in the wind. The assembly hall was spacious, decorated only with calligraphy and the faint scent of sandalwood. When Masaru entered, he was primed for a scene of reverence, expecting the monks to rise and honor his rank. Yet Dogen neither stood nor acknowledged the governor's entourage, but simply invited him to sit on a cushion as any visitor would. Masaru's face flushed, a mixture of surprise and indignation. "Do you not recognize my station, Master? I'm responsible for the lives of thousands," he pressed, his voice clipped but restrained. Dogen's reply was gentle and direct. "Here, beyond titles, we meet soul to soul. The wind that stirs the pines does not bow to the crown, and the tea leaf does not ask the bowl for its name." Masaru paused, feeling the words like drops of rain softening the edges of his pride. The afternoon unfolded into discussion. At first, Masaru clung to familiar topics, debates of law and policy, tales of local disputes and successes. Dogen listened, responding not with agreement or criticism, but with questions that pierced the surface. Who is Masaru, independent of his role? When the robes are folded, when the words are set aside, what remains? Masaru struggled, for his entire life had been a collection of roles: son, official, husband, counselor. He was practiced in performing, rarely pausing to witness the bare self beneath adornment. Dogen suggested an exercise. Masaru would join the monks for daily chores, anonymous and stripped of all authority. At first, Masaru resisted, feeling awkward sweeping corridors and washing rice bowls with novices who addressed him simply as brother. Gradually, however, a shift took place. The act of sweeping became meditative, the rhythm slow and grounding, the space alive with the scent of sandalwood and old wood. Masaru learned to appreciate the weight of each bowl, the chill of water, the warmth of shared laughter. Role and rank faded in shared silence. Masaru found comfort in not being watched, in not having to decide, command, or defend. Insights arose with every repeated action, when working not for praise, but for the simple sake of being useful. At meals, he sat shoulder to shoulder with monks, his hunger equal, his gratitude immediate. During evening meditation, Dogen spoke softly on anatta, the Buddhist teaching of non-self. He asked, "If you dismantle the chariot, what remains? Is it still a chariot, or simply components arranged together?" Masaru pondered. The past was a string of stories, a framework, not the core self. To loosen the grip on identity brought profound relief, unveiling space for connection, clarity, and real contentment. Personal stories flashed in Masaru's mind, moments defended, pride protected, hurts magnified by the need to be right or superior. Dogen's teaching offered a new practice. Recognize identity's fluidity, greet each day with humility, and embrace the peace that blooms in the absence of comparison and ego defense. That night, Masaru joined the monks for a silent walk in the moonlit garden. No titles, no speeches, only footsteps, breathing, and the texture of moss beneath bare feet. He felt a lightness, as if leaving behind an invisible armor. Pema Chodron's wisdom echoed, "Let go of the stories you tell about yourself. What remains is space for clarity, for connection, for genuine joy." The lesson extended to everyone. Whether powerful or humble, all suffer when clinging to narrative. Non-attachment to identity opens the heart to presence and gratitude. For you too, this teaching invites pause. Notice moments of self-defense or comparison. Breathe into the possibility of meeting each situation without mask or armor. In releasing rigid roles, you allow others and yourself space to evolve, heal, and connect truly. Masaru departed at dawn, bowing to Dogen with quiet respect. Beyond the gates, he felt free, no longer governor, but simple traveler, suffused with the kindness and humility of shared existence. Each breath a return to the essence of being. Let this story guide your own journey. Beyond titles and roles, rest in spacious sufficiency, meeting life not as someone to be measured, but as someone to be present, open, grateful, and complete. The gift of an empty bowl, sincerity, intention, and gratitude beyond material offering. Morning arrived softly, mist lingering in the hollows, and sunlight filtering through layers of plum and cherry blossoms. The temple grounds, usually tranquil, were alive with a gentle anticipation, a sense of unity and possibility in the air as monks prepared for the ritual of alms. Each day, as part of their devotion, the monks walked mindfully into the village, bowls clean and empty, gowns rustling with every slow and deliberate step. It was a practice rooted in tradition, a path through which the cycle of giving and receiving turned, blessing both sides with the essence of connection. Along muddy paths lined with tea houses and humble dwellings, children watched the procession with shining eyes. Some ran ahead, eager to greet the monks, tugging at sleeves and offering shy bows. Merchants paused their sweeping to press handfuls of steamed rice into outstretched bowls. An old grandmother, face lined like a patch of earth after rain, placed a freshly plucked persimmon gently at the center of another. The spirit of the morning was abundance and gratitude, but also, for many, the bittersweet awareness of barely having enough to give. Among the crowd was a woman whom life had weathered with hardship. Her clothes were threadbare and patched, her hair tamed by a rough scarf. Her name was Sayo. She moved slowly, sometimes pausing with a hand pressed to her back as she watched other villagers offer what they could. In her heart, a longing pulsed, a wish to be part of the current of generosity that flowed through the morning. But her small pouch, when opened, held only tiny crumbs and the memory of better days. Driven not by duty or obligation, but by a genuine yearning to share, Sayo approached the procession. She waited for the crowd to thin, carrying with her a worn, lacquered bowl, polished smooth by years of care, but empty now, save for the sincerity she placed within it. As she drew near to Buddha, her steps slowed. A hush seemed to fall over the temple gates, a quiet born not of expectation, but of reverence for the silent act about to unfold. Trembling, Sayo bowed deeply, lowering her eyes and lifting the empty bowl. Her voice, barely more than a whisper, expressed gratitude for another dawn, for a breath, for the hope that her presence might bring blessing even when her hands could not offer substance. She asked nothing in return. Her gesture was pure, her intent crystalline in its humility and openness. Buddha received Sayo's bowl with both hands and bowed in reply, a gesture both profound and simple. He looked not at the emptiness of what was given, but at the fullness behind the act. The watching crowd felt something shift, a subtle awakening. Buddha then declared, "Among all treasures placed here today, this empty bowl is the most radiant, for it is filled not with rice or fruit, but with the clear light of an open heart, the rarest gift of all." Whispers rippled through those gathered. Some felt surprise, others awe. As the ritual ended, villagers gathered around Sayo, moved by the depth of her intention. Many realized they had often given out of habit, or duty, or comparison. Today, they saw new meaning in offering, one that was not measured by quantity or price, but by quality of presence and sincerity of spirit. The monks reflected that afternoon on Buddha's words, gathering in small circles across shaded courtyards and cool corridors. An elder shared, "Each of us has known emptiness. Days when we've had nothing left to give, when hands or hearts felt hollow. Yet often, it is in those moments that we discover the most profound ability to connect, to extend a smile, to truly see and hear another, to bless the world with a presence that says, 'I am here, and I wish you well.'" The lesson resonated with stories told for generations. A simple bow may heal sorrow. A listening silence may nourish more deeply than any meal. To honor the dignity of another person by receiving their gesture, however small, with gratitude is a gift in itself. Sayo's empty bowl had become a mirror for all present, reminding each of them that their worth did not depend on their wealth or skill, but on their willingness to meet others with a whole heart. Buddha's teaching returned. Thousands of candles can be lit from a single flame. The flame does not diminish, yet the light multiplies. The image lingered in the monk's meditation that evening. Sayo's flame, a kindness shining in emptiness, had illuminated the whole village, sparking gratitude, humility, and connection. As dusk fell, the temple's inner hall glowed with lanterns. Sayo was welcomed inside, not as a supplicant, but as a teacher in her own right. Monks offered bowls of warm rice, fruits perfumed by the sun, cups of pale tea. Yet in her hands, she still felt the lightness of the empty bowl, now filled with the warmth and acceptance of an entire community. In company and in quiet, Sayo's soul rested, knowing she belonged not because of what she possessed, but because of who she was. Present, sincere, enough. Pause and reflect in your own heart. How often do you measure your contributions by size or value? Have there been times you felt too empty to give, to show up, to belong? Let Sayo's example guide you. Recognize that intention and presence can fill an empty bowl with radiance, that love and gratitude do not require you to possess or present anything more than your true self. You may find in daily life that the simple act of attending, truly seeing, hearing, offering comfort, plants seeds of good far greater than you know. Kindness in presence, gratitude in gestures, and sincerity in offering turn ordinary interactions into the beating heart of community. When Buddha raised Sayo's empty bowl high at dusk, every face in the courtyard glowed. The villagers and monks alike bowed, not just to her, but to the profound truth she revealed. Enough is a state of being, not of having. In willingness to show up empty, open, and sincere, you create the possibility of fullness for yourself and for all around you. As you close your day, take a moment to cradle the emptiness and fullness within you. Remember that the greatest gifts are given and received in small, true acts. Your presence is a blessing. The bowl is always enough. The oak and the bamboo. Flexibility, resilience, and acceptance in the face of change. The village on the edge of the forest was shaped by the rhythms of the seasons, summer's blazing heat, winter's icy hush, the gentle coming and going of rain. At the boundary between crop fields and wild woods stood two remarkable trees, an ancient oak, proud and sturdy, towering with branches that reached ambitiously to the sky, and a patch of bamboo, slender and unassuming, swaying together with every passing breeze. Children loved the oak for its vast shadow and mighty limbs, while elders appreciated the bamboo's soft rustle and hidden strength. One year, when the rains came late and the ground cracked with thirst, the village worried for its crops and the great trees standing guard. At night, a storm rose, winds howled down from the mountains, powerful and wild, snapping branches and whipping the garden's finer plants. The oak's wood groaned with each gust, roots gripping the earth as it fought to stand firm. The bamboo bent low, almost touching the ground, moving with the gale rather than resisting it, their whisper rising and falling together. By morning, the storm had moved on. Villagers found many of the oak's strongest branches splintered and scattered, but the bamboo, though battered, stood upright once the winds faded, leaves intact, swaying gently as though nothing had changed. Children clambered around the fallen oak wood, but elders came together, gathering beneath the bamboo stand to contemplate what the night had revealed. Miyu, a young apprentice, watched quietly and listened as Master Yori spoke. "Do you see? The oak trusted only its strength, but that very strength led it to break. The bamboo's softness, its willingness to yield and adapt, allowed it to survive." He shared a story passed down through generations of farmers learning to build fences with bamboo, never with rigid branches, their flexibility outlasting the heaviest rains and strongest winds. This lesson, woven deep into Zen tradition, reveals itself in countless forms. Resilience is not merely enduring, but accepting change, adapting in response, bending rather than shattering when troubles arise. "He who stands on tiptoe does not stand firm," wrote Lao Tzu. The soft and yielding overcome the rigid and strong. To be like the bamboo is to trust life's flow, to welcome change, to find peace not in forced control, but in graceful acceptance. Miyu asked her teacher, "Does that mean we should always yield, never stand up for what is right?" Master Yori shook his head, smiling. "Flexibility is wisdom, not weakness. Even the bamboo's roots run deep. It gives where needed, but remains planted. In your heart, the truest strength is found in gentleness, not stubbornness. You may bend, but you need not fall." The weeks after the storm were filled with work for the villagers, repairing, rebuilding, learning once more to honor the lessons of nature. Some took branches from the fallen oak, using them to carve tools and sculptures, honoring the old tree's strength and beauty even in its transformation. Others gathered bamboo shoots to weave new baskets and fences, marveling at the plant's outward humility and inner resourcefulness. Meditators at the temple saw in the storm's aftermath a mirror for their own lives, challenges testing resolve, change coming unbidden, the opportunity to grow kinder rather than harder with each difficulty. They practiced sitting quietly, allowing thoughts and feelings to move through like clouds across a sky or wind touching the bamboo. Again and again, they returned to the wisdom that contentment and gratitude flourish when the heart yields, accepts and trusts, rather than when it fights, insists or clings. At sunset, villagers gathered for tea beneath the shelter of the bamboo. Its long stems swayed overhead, dappling gold light over smiling faces. Master Yori invited each person to share a story of a time when yielding became survival, when flexibility led to healing, when acceptance transformed loss into a new beginning. Laughter and quiet tears mingled. Gratitude glowed in soft words and full silences. You are invited too to notice places in your own life where the urge is to harden, to brace against pain, to demand certainty or control. What if, in these moments, you could lean like the bamboo, bending, yielding, and returning upright when the storm passes. How might resilience, born of flexibility and trust, offer you new sources of contentment and gentle strength? Zen practice does not ask you to abandon your roots, nor ignore your pain. Instead, it invites you to trust the process of change, allowing life to move you, to teach you, to open spaces once hidden by rigidity. As you witness the world within and around you, hold the wisdom of the oak and the bamboo. Celebrate solidity, but treasure the gift of letting yourself bend. Tonight, the wind may rise or the sun may shine. In either, let your heart remember the strength found in humility and the beauty of returning again and again to the soft, yielding, resilient center within. When hungry, eat. Presence, embodiment, and the radical simplicity of mindful action. At the break of day, the monastery basked in a soft orange glow as the sun crept above distant ridges. Birds fluttered in the berry bushes, their songs simple and direct, a chorus of being, not striving or achieving. Within the temple walls, a group of novice monks gathered, their conversations thick with questions of enlightenment, virtue, and meaning. The air was full of anticipation, the scent of boiling rice and wild ginger mingling with flickering incense. Today, the Master Joshu was scheduled to offer his morning teaching, a moment the novices awaited with both excitement and anxiety. Joshu was renowned for his paradoxical wisdom, effortless demeanor, and ability to cut through confusion with a single sentence. Rumors had spread that he could unlock an awakening with just a word, yet those who left were sometimes more puzzled than when they arrived. As the monks sat in silence on the tatami mats, Joshu entered and observed the group quietly. The din of inner questions filled the room, even as outward silence reigned. He asked, "What is the essence of Zen?" Some monks offered elaborate responses. The cessation of suffering, infinite compassion and emptiness, the ultimate knowledge of mind and nature. Joshu listened without judgment, then smiled gently and asked a novice how he was feeling. "Hungry, master," the young monk replied. Joshu's eyes crinkled with delight. "When hungry, eat," he said. "When tired, sleep." Confusion bloomed among the students. Was this not too simple, almost naive? Some shifted uncomfortably, searching for a hidden layer of meaning. Others felt frustration. Had their years of study, their sacrifices, been reduced to the basic rhythms of bodily need? Yet, as breakfast was served, steam rising from the bowls, Joshu's words echoed, "When hungry, eat." The meal became an unexpected meditation. Rice between fingers, warmth on the tongue, a mind sharpened not by effort, but by surrender to the immediacy of sensation. The act of chewing was neither rushed nor drawn out. Each bite was met, noticed, honored. Some monks began to realize how rarely they were actually present while eating, distracted instead by thoughts of the next task, anxiety about worth or progress. This morning, for the first time, eating became the point, perceiving each flavor, feeling gratitude for the hands that prepared and the earth that provided. After breakfast, an elder approached Joshu and asked, "Is the great path truly found in such simplicity?" Joshu nodded. Every cry of life is an invitation to presence. The body is a gate. Treat it with respect, meet its needs, and the mind will learn its own lessons. He recounted an old tale. A traveler, exhausted and famished, entered a monastery asking about enlightenment. The abbot offered food and a quiet place to rest. Only after hunger and fatigue were cared for did wisdom arise unbidden, clear as a mountain stream. Printed in soft calligraphy along the kitchen's wooden beams was a phrase from Dogen: "The practice itself is enlightenment." In other words, the attention brought to any act, not the act itself, reveals the fullness, the sacredness of living. Whether chopping vegetables or sweeping leaves, every moment is a gateway if entered wholly and honestly, without self-consciousness or evasion. As days flowed on, many monks found old patterns dissolving. The act of eating lost its rush, its tangle of distractions. Meals became ceremonies, opportunities to commune with nature, body, breath. In sleep too, monks let go of striving, yielding to tiredness as permission to rest, rather than a failing to overcome. Slowly, they saw their lives change. Urgency softened into sufficiency, achievement into contentment. The search for distant wisdom gave way to the miracle in the mundane. One afternoon, sitting by the lotus pond, Joshu reminded them, Zen is not hidden in complexity. When you eat, eat. When you walk, walk. Give yourself fully to each thing, not in fragments or regret, not leaping forward or looking back. He encouraged the monks to observe the taste of water, the crunch of a leaf, the gentle heaviness before sleep. Each a lesson received with the entirety of body and heart. With time, even visitors to the monastery noticed a change. Laughter flowed more easily. Tasks were done with focus and mutual respect. Peacefulness radiated from kitchen to corridor. Contentment and gratitude became the ground from which all else was possible. A life built from sufficiency, not absence. You are invited too to meet your own hunger and tiredness with compassion, as sacred signals calling you back to presence. When you eat, truly eat. When you rest, surrender into the healing of sleep. Do one thing with your all, for in presence you embody the fullness of being. As night rises, let Joshu's lesson echo in your body. Wisdom, like contentment, is not far away. It is already here, tender and sufficient, in the next humble bite or the next deep breath. Embrace the miracle of simplicity. When hungry, eat. The samurai at the gates of heaven. The power of response, creating peace within and recognizing the mind as the source of suffering or liberation. Dawn shimmered across the garden where the temple walls met the open plain. In that space, between cultivated order and wild expanse, stood Riku, a samurai known for his skill in battle and the weight of his pride. His armor had carried him through campaigns and honors, but beneath steel and silk, Riku wrestled unseen unrest, a hunger for certainty, a fear of failure, tension that never vanished no matter victory or defeat. One day, news reached Riku of a Zen master reputed to unlock mysteries of heaven and hell, states he longed to understand and command. Driven by curiosity and hope for deeper mastery, Riku rode to the temple, sword gleaming as sunlight fell. There, he found Master Mokuren sitting beneath a willow whose leaves whispered ancient secrets in the morning wind. Riku approached, his voice loud with urgency. "Master, tell me, what are heaven and hell? Where do I find peace?" Mokuren studied Riku, neither bowing nor recoiling. His gaze met the samurai, direct, unwavering, gentle. For a long moment, there was silence. Then, in a calm voice, Mokuren replied, "Why should I speak of heaven and hell to an ignorant brute like you?" Riku's pride surged, anger flaring as old wounds bled anew. Flames of indignation ignited in his chest. His hand seized the hilt of his sword, and the world narrowed, rage flooding his thoughts, eclipsing calm. But Mokuren did not move. He sat steady, neither threatened nor afraid. As Riku prepared to draw his sword, the master continued softly, "See, in this very moment, you stand in hell." The words cut deeper than any weapon. Riku froze, heart racing as realization dawned. Hell was not a place of fire distant and terrible, but the state of his own mind, the storm wrought by pride, reactivity, desire for control. Shame descended, cooling Riku's fury. He loosened his grip on the sword, shoulders sagging as humility entered him. Tears trembled at his eyes, pain not from battle, but from the recognition of suffering source within. "And now," said Mokuren, "you stand in heaven." The willow branches shivered as a light breeze moved. Riku's breath deepened, presence returned to his body. An unexpected peace settled in his chest, not because he gained anything, but because he let something go. This story, echoed in Zen halls for generations, offers profound medicine. Suffering and freedom are both created within, shaped by how we respond. Heaven and hell are not distant worlds, but states revealed with every reaction or spacious acceptance. The mind, restless to protect and defend, forges its own cage. The same mind, when softened and aware, opens every gate to peace. Riku stayed at the temple long after, learning humility through simple tasks, sweeping leaves, repairing sandals, eating quietly, meditating beneath the willow. The samurai's armor, once prized for its protection, was gradually shed. Experience taught what no battlefield could. The strength found in calm, the liberation born from yielding, the deep joy waiting beneath the relinquishment of pride. In daily practice, Mokuren taught the monks and visitors alike. Peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. Suffering is a shadow cast by misunderstanding. When one feels compelled to fight, succeed, or be seen, the gates of hell open quietly. Yet every breath is an invitation to choose awareness instead of reaction, compassion in place of defense, gratitude rather than comparison. You may find, as Riku did, moments when challenge stirs the urge to fight or defend, when words wound, when pride presses for domination, when anxiety about mistakes or loss narrows your vision. In these spaces, pause, breathe. Ask not, "How am I seen?" but "Who am I being?" Ask not, "What do I lack?" but "What am I meeting with gentleness?" Zen wisdom reminds that the gates of heaven do not swing open to those who conquer, but to those who see, forgive, and unify. Peace is created not by banishing difficulty, but by transforming response in humility, resilience, awareness. At sunset, Riku bowed before Mokuren, armor replaced by the open robes of a monk in practice. His hands were empty, his heart aligned with the willow's quiet. Whether walking through fields or meditating in the hall, he watched his mind with new gentleness, seeing where hell might rise, and meeting it with a breath that chose peace. The gates of heaven, he learned, waited only for his willingness to let go and welcome what is. Tonight and every day, you are invited to notice your own gates, opened with reaction or closed in presence, shaped by pride or softened by surrender. In choosing awareness, gratitude, and a gentle heart, you return to the sanctuary within. Heaven and hell are here, chosen moment by moment. You have the key. The golden art of repair, kintsugi, acceptance of imperfection, resilience, and gratitude for the unique journey. Mist lingered above the winding river as morning unfurled in gentle waves through the valley. The world was hushed, every sound softened by dew, a distant temple bell, birds fluttering above bamboo, water pattering on worn stones. In the heart of the monastery, Master Kaide ignited the small fireplace in his humble workshop, the smell of cedar and clay blending with the fresh breath of day. It was a space sacred not for grand design, but for its simple devotion to healing and transformation, the domain of kintsugi, the golden art of repair. Broken pottery crowded the shelves. bowls engraved with faded patterns, vases with jagged fissures and chipped edges, cups shaped by function but marred by life's unpredictability. Village craftsmen had tried to mend them, but for Master Kaide, repair was not a task of hiding scars. It was a spiritual practice, a celebration of resilience and story. The cracks, he explained, held history, each fault a testimony to use, adversity and care. Slowness is required, he told Emmy, his apprentice. Patience is the gold. Each break is not an end, only a new beginning. Emmy was young, her fingers nimble but her heart longing to move quickly, eager for results. She watched Kaide mix lacquer with fine gold dust, the sparkling color deep as sunlight on water. They practiced together, joining pieces with utmost intention, smoothing jagged edges, pressing golden glue into the wound until the object shone radiant and new, marked with shimmering veins. At first, Emmy saw only flaws and mistakes. Over time, she recognized in each bowl a kind of miracle, the possibility of wholeness after breaking. One day, a villager named Haru arrived, carrying a porcelain teapot, a family heirloom shattered during a celebration. Haru's face was weary, his eyes ringed with sorrow. "This teapot was my mother's," he explained. "Every crack is a memory, every chip a story. I wish not for perfection, but for a way to honor what remains." Kaide accepted the pieces with reverence, inviting Haru and Emmy to participate. Each fragment was cleaned and prepared, each step of repair accompanied by conversation, remembrance of laughter, grief, moments of growth. The repair itself became a ceremony. Kaide explained as he worked, "The teacher in Zen is not a person, but the experience itself. Kintsugi teaches acceptance, not of defeat, but of transformed beauty. The gold does not erase the break. It tells the truth of it, making tenderness visible." Applying the gold, Emmy felt her heart quiet. She learned to ask the break what lesson it brought, to treat every imperfection, her own and in others, not as a failure, but as an offering. Each lacquered seam was a teaching, gratitude for the journey, respect for what had survived. As weeks passed, the workshop overflowed with repaired bowls, each unique, each made more precious by its story. Monks came to drink from these bowls. Children visited, entranced by the light on gold, tracing lines with their fingertips, discovering the mystery of beauty that grows through adversity. Emmy started seeing kintsugi everywhere, in the laughter that followed tears, in friendships built back stronger, in the blossoms born from winter's cold. During meditation, Master Kaide led the monks in a reflection. Bring to mind a memory of being cracked, a moment when loss or fear split you in two. With your breath, gather the pieces inside your heart. Imagine joining them with gold, a kindness, a lesson, a blessing. Rest in the new shape. See how your wholeness is not lost, but deepened. Our lives are bowls, our spirits golden seams. Emmy hesitated, questioning if she could truly honor her own wounds. Kaide assured her, "True gratitude is learned by loving what has fractured, not by hiding it. We are not as we were, and that is a blessing. The cracks are maps leading home." In the evenings, Emmy journaled her fears and joys, tracking the process of inner kintsugi, accepting mistakes, forgiving what felt unfixable, offering thanks for the scars that made her unique. Haru returned for his teapot, now glowing with threads of gold, every fissure radiant with meaning. As he poured tea, he cried, then laughed, then shared with other villagers the tale of new beauty born from hardship. The teapot became a centerpiece for gatherings, proof that nothing true need be discarded, and that healing is always possible. even for things most cherished, most broken. The monastery adopted the kintsugi bowls as sacred vessels, their golden lines gleaming in candlelight. During ceremonies, they passed them from hand to hand, honoring not only the tea, but the story, the redemption, the gratitude for restoration. Young monks whispered of wabi-sabi, the Zen embrace of the imperfect, the fleeting, the incomplete, finding that wonder multiplies when nothing is denied. Old Kada grew frail, but left Emmy with his final lesson. You will break, and you will repair. Each time your gold increases, making you luminous far beyond any unbroken thing. Contentment comes not from absence of cracks, but from living so lovingly that every flaw is woven with grace. When Kaidi passed, Emmy carried on the tradition, becoming known for her extraordinary compassion and the wisdom that shines brightest in the broken places. Pause and turn this practice inward. In your own life, where have you broken? Which cracks do you hide, or wish would disappear? Imagine approaching them with gold, with patience, gratitude, forgiveness. Welcome the chance to become more beautiful than before, honoring resilience and softness woven through every seam. Kintsugi is the art of living, piecing together loss, celebrating survival, allowing the past to become shining veins in your present. Thank your wounds, fill them with gold, and hold every part of your journey, broken and mended, sorrowful and whole, with gentle, abiding gratitude. The emptiness of the chariot, non-self, interconnectedness, and liberation from ego. Evening unfolded with a hush in the valley as smoky lavender clouds drifted across skies tinged with gold. In the great hall of the monastery, lamps flickered against polished wood, casting wavering shadows across groups of quiet listeners. Tonight's teaching was rare, a gathering for monks and villagers alike, invited to hear a story that crossed centuries, continents, and the very borders of selfhood. Master Nagasena, revered for wisdom and the ease with which he welcomed paradox, sat before the crowd, his face open and unhurried. Among those assembled was King Milinda, a ruler renowned for his determination, wealth, and ceaseless questioning. Driven by a hunger to understand the mystery of spirit, the king approached Nagasena, pressing for clarity. You speak often of non-self, but my thoughts, my actions, my memories are all my own. How can we be empty of self when experience is so vivid, so personal? With gestures gentle but deliberate, Nagasena asked for a chariot to be brought, a vehicle familiar to all, a symbol of status, speed, and human ingenuity. When the chariot arrived, he beckoned the king and audience to examine it. Tell me, Nagasena said, is the chariot found only in its wheels, or in the axle, or in the yoke? Is it in the frame, the reins, the seat? The king examined each part, hesitating. No single piece is the chariot, he admitted. The chariot exists only as the assembly of many. Nagasena nodded. So too with self. It is a collection of form, sensation, perception, mental formations, and consciousness. Never a solid thing, but always a coming together. The lesson deepened as the evening wore on. Villagers whispered among themselves, their minds stretching to encompass the idea that their own identities, names, habits, stories, are woven not from one source, but from a tapestry of influences and conditions. Nagasena shared, you are rivers meeting rain clouds, thoughts born of hunger and history, breath given by trees and shared with all beings. Identity is not fortress, but flowing field, always changing, never fixed. As candlelight waned, King Milinda felt his certainty begin to dissolve. He recalled memories shaped by parents, places, triumphs, and losses. He saw that remove a memory or change a role, and the self transforms, sometimes subtly, other times profoundly. There was liberation in this realization. Suffering softens when you release the need to defend or define self at every moment. A heart open to emptiness is free, less anxious for validation, less bound by shame or pride. The monks reflected in meditation. Nagasena invited each to witness thoughts as clouds drifting through an endless sky, arising and passing, never with substance or permanence, yet never apart from the sky itself. To be empty does not mean to be nothing, he taught, but to be limitless, interconnected, free to adapt and belong everywhere. Villagers practiced greeting each other anew, expecting less, listening more, and watching as compassion unspooled between them in gentle presence. Connection rooted in this teaching became daily practice. The monks swept walkways together, each moment dissolving boundaries. My broom, your step, our silence. They gardened, chopped wood, carried water. The simple acts of living highlighted not by separation, but by unity of intent, effort, and gratitude. With every chore and every prayer, contentment grew, not by clinging to individual achievement, but by honoring the web, the dependent origination that birthed all experience. Zen sayings were shared. Form is emptiness. Emptiness is form. There is no self apart from the world, no world apart from self. Hearts softened, fear abated. The pressure to succeed, impress, stand apart eased into curiosity, openness, and the sufficiency found in simply participating. Pause now and reflect. Where in your life do you guard, defend, or isolate a need to be right, to appear special, to win, or be noticed? Gently invite awareness to those places, breathing into the possibility that you can release some of the holding. Notice the strength and relief that arises when you allow the self to be less rigid, more spacious, more at home within community and change. In solitude, Master Nagasena rested by candlelight, affirming, "Not self does not mean erasure, but transformation, awakening to the truth that you are always enough as you are, forever becoming more. The world is chariot and parts, song and silence, always complete in its incompleteness." As you journey through your days, let the emptiness of the chariot remind you, you belong by nature, by connection, by allowing life to flow through you unobstructed. Ego drops away, and what remains is grace, a gentle solidarity with all beings, a gratitude for the freedom to change, return, and belong. Night embraces the world with its velvet hush, cloaking the temple, gardens, and quiet rooms in gentle darkness. The stories of gratitude, contentment, and the value of simplicity linger in the air, woven through each breath and every corner. You have journeyed with monks and travelers, women and warriors, through storms and stillness. You have tasted strawberries on the edge of peril, witnessed bowls reborn in gold, and sat at the feet of teachers whose voices ring in memory. As you rest now, settle your body a little deeper into comfort. Feel the weight of the day loosen across your shoulders, the gentle support of the mattress or floor beneath you. Return to your breath, unhurried, soft. There is nothing you must do, nowhere you need to go. This moment alone holds enoughness. Let each inhale remind you, you are here, and that is sufficient. Allow your mind to drift, not to worry, but to the ordinary miracles that fill each day. Recall the quiet of dawn, the resonance of laughter over shared tea, the pulse of your own heartbeat as you walk beneath stars or trees. Feel gratitude for all that was given and for all that was simply noticed. Each story you have heard tonight is a thread, beckoning you back to the present, inviting you to participate in the restful tapestry of now. If emotion arises, let it pass as clouds across the moon. If thoughts swirl, let them slow. Each sensation, each feeling is welcomed as a guest, not to be judged or clung to, but simply to be acknowledged and then released. Reaffirm to yourself in the gentle echo of this meditation: you are here, and that is enough. Prepare yourself for sleep or for the peace of a new morning. Let relaxation deepen, body softening from crown to toes. Know that presence is your sanctuary, gratitude your blanket, and contentment your gentle companion. You do not need to change or accomplish. You do not need to fix or improve. Simply rest in what is true, the sufficiency of being alive, awake, and held. Before closing, offer yourself quiet thanks for your attention, your openness, and your willingness to settle into simplicity. You have honored your journey. No perfection required, only the beauty of showing up. Should you ever wish to return to this place of peace, know that you are always welcome. This sanctuary lives within you. If you desire, you can subscribe to revisit this space whenever you seek gentle rest and wise company. As the final minutes of the day stretch into softness, bid yourself a gentle good night. In the fullness of your breath, the calm of your body, and the presence of your heart, may you find deep rest. Contentment is not beyond reach. It is here, now, in the act of drifting kindly towards sleep. You are enough. Let gratitude carry you. Return to this sanctuary whenever peace is needed. Always waiting, always whole, always home.